everybody, Turtle on TG3 here, Pocket the Monster. Hot Eye Zones, episode 99 and episode 100. We have reached episode 100 of Pocket the Monster. Hot Eye Zones. It's kind of wild when you think about it. And for me personally, reviewing these episodes, obviously I know I've been doing a very different take on Pokemon Horizon reviews as other reviews where I usually review every last episode. Whereas here, I decided to review chunks of episodes connected together, but that's kind of because Pokemon Horizons labels itself out like that. That's how Pokemon Horizons just does things, where the episodes realistically are all glued together in some way. Even episodes you wouldn't think are together in some way, shape, or form, very loosely, but still connected. Pokemon Horizons is a continuing series, but it also has the new adventures every day formula of the old Pokemon, but still finds a way to connect it all together by traveling from one spot to the other, regardless of the fact that sometimes in some episodes they have an airship that literally takes them from one major place to the next almost instantly. But here we can clearly see that we've got things going on, and it's led all the way up to 100 episodes. So with episode 99, it's titled A Flightless Orla and... That's literally it. It's just called A Flightless Orla and. And then episode 100 is We Are the Rising Voltacklers. And honestly, I will say this. I definitely enjoyed these two episodes. I will say episode 99 was kind of to me. But episode 100 was definitely a good feeling. Just because I think that episode clearly is an homage. It's clearly doing an homage, and it's setting things up, and it's a nice 100th episode when you really think about it. I think Pokemon Horizons is one of those series that realizes, yo, this is the 100th episode, so we gotta make it big. And I like when animes do that. I like when an anime knows where it is in its place. So it does something to help pay homage to that. And you can very clearly see that during that moment of it being episode 100, it's a nice stamp onto moving on to the things. While this is clearly an arc, the Mega Voltage arc, as you will, this definitely feels like the halfway point between the Mega Voltage arc was these episodes leading up to episode 100. So that's good. That's really good. But with that being said, let's hop straight into it. Episode 99 is titled A Flightless Orla and it just ends like that. So we see that Alt, Dot, Roy, and Liko get a tidbit from Murdoch as to where Orla is. But the catch is that she's acting a little strange. They head back to the mechanics area where we saw, what's her name? We saw, her English name is Karna. I think it's the same both Japanese and English. Anyway, Karna and her Magmi, they're back. It's the same lady that made those gimmick Pokeballs from before. So yeah, we get to see her again. She's actually relevant again, which is good. That again, it follows what I said before. Episodes are connected in ways that you may not expect. Karna makes Pokeballs, but she also runs a machines factory. So essentially, whenever they need something manufactured, they're the ones that manufacture it. And Orla works with her now, which that's cool because that actually was referenced a while back where Orla was offered the position and declined it in order to be with the Rising Voltacklers. Well, now that the Rising Voltacklers were disbanded, Orla's obviously going over there. You see that Murdoch's working with Katie. You see that Molly is working with the Nurse Joyce. You see that Orla is working with Karna. All of the adults essentially went to where they would be if they didn't follow their dreams on the Rising Voltackler ship, on the Brave Asagi. And I like that. It's a level of meta realism to these characters to know that, yes, they have lives that they can stick with outside of being Rising Voltacklers on the Brave Asagi, but those lives are very limited. They're very stagnant. Yes, they're good at their crafts. Cooking, flying, well, baking, I guess. Baking, mechanics, and healing Pokemon respectfully. And there's routes they can take. But these adult characters know full well that if they join the Rising Volt Tacklers and travel around the world, then they'll feel more fulfilled because they're chasing their dreams in an alternative way. So I do like that. It's not even that they're unhappy. It's just that when they're doing their job, they know they can be flying so much higher. And that's not just me being punific with a metaphor. That's them literally being in the air. So when Liko, Roy, and Dot talk to Orla, it's very clear that she no longer wants to build the Brave Asagi. She even made a rumor that the Brave Asagi was dismantled. It's a lie. It's not. Karna reveals to them that it's still around, and she's even still done maintenance on the machine to make sure that it stays up. Even the Pokemon that live on the Brave Asagi are still there. They gather food, then just come back to it. So when that's said, we see that Orla's still dealing with the situation at hand and is very upset because of what happened with Freed. Out of all the people that were upset by this situation, she's the most upset because she doesn't know where Freed is. She's confirming that Freed is dead and that he'll never come back. Obviously, Dot, Liko, and Roy feel bad for trying to force her to basically build the Brave Asagi again and start up the airship so they can continue. And Alt, looking on the outside in as a new character, doesn't understand really what's going on. He just knows that there's an objective that needs to be met. It's really interesting seeing it from Alt's perspective because he has no respective context. So he comes off as a jerk, but at the same time, he does know what needs to be done. Meanwhile, we see here that Karna and Orla have received information to go ahead and manufacture the strong spheres, the same spheres that were used in several other episodes to make Pokemon stronger using the Raccoon energy, but it causes harm to those Pokemon. Once that's said, we see that Orla meets up with Liko, Roy, and Dot again and request that they build the Brave Asagi back up and travel because that's what Freed would have wanted. When the argument starts to get a little heated, we see that Karna is dealing with the manufacturers from Exceed, forcing them to manufacture the strong spheres. Now, when they use force, they have the Tauros, Paldean form Tauros, fire, and Paldea form Tauros, water, end up trying to strong arm them into doing it. So Liko, Dot, Roy, and Alt end up fighting the Tauros respectfully, and the Tauros end up getting infected with the Raccoon energy due to the strong spheres being used, but the detriment means that the trainers can no longer give orders to their Tauros. Instead, they're fighting on instinct alone. When Dot exposes this, she's able to find a strategy around this and allows the trainers to beat both of the Tauros, and Exceeds have no choice but to retreat the area. Orla gets inspired by seeing the growth of Liko, Roy, Dot, and Alt by comparison. And she ends up saying that she'll go ahead and help them out in order to build the Brave Asagi. Once that ends up happening, they all end up working in the ship for about 3 days. During the 3 days, it's revealed that Orla called upon the others in order to come back. So Murdoch and Molly end up joining the crew as well, and thus the Rising Volt Tacklers are forming themselves back up, and we move on to episode 100. We are the Rising Volt Tacklers. This episode, mainly, it's just everybody getting back together, building the ship, working on it again, and getting the Brave Asagi back up and running. We even get the first opening in this whole episode, like the very first opening, that we got in Pokemon Horizons, which is a really nice like callback that I really do like. We get to see everybody working on it. We get to see everybody back on the ship again. We get to see all of the adult characters respecting the children characters for their growth. We get to see Lycanroc, unfortunately, back to its skinny self. Boo! But regardless of such, we see that everybody's back together again. And when we see that everybody's back together again, we see that Alt eventually joins the Rising Volt Tacklers as well. When he comes in, he boasts saying that he wants to be the captain, but obviously Pikachu is the captain with the Captain Pikachu thing, and they all wind up doing the Rising Volt Tacklers like little hand thing, and it's funny because Alt obviously doesn't know what it is, so he's like copying them afterwards, which is the same thing Liko did when she joined the Rising Volt Tacklers as well. So that's a fun little like nod to the progression of time and the things have gone. And I really do like the fact that Murdoch, Molly, and Orla tell Liko and Roy and Dot, no, we're not rejoining the Rising Volt Tacklers until we ask you all for permission to join the Rising Volt Tacklers. Because in essence, you basically started the Rising Volt Tacklers back up. So essentially, Liko, Roy, and Dot have unofficially promoted themselves and have become more of the lead action rather than the following action. And I do love that sign of character development that happens in between these characters. I really do like that. Between all of that, we also end up getting a tidbit about Freed, because once Dot starts the Rising Volt Tacklers app back up, it shows that there's a vocal message on it. When they encode the message, it's Freed. So Freed is still alive. He's somewhere. He's just undercover trying to stop Team Explorers. We don't know where he is, but it is confirmed that he is alive and kicking. Also, Ludlow's here, by the way. Yeah, Ludlow's been there the whole time, apparently. He makes the argument that it is his ship. I'm guessing he probably was just chilling on the ship the whole time without anybody knowing, which is wild. But yeah, he's back too. So with that being said, the Rising Volt Tacklers head off to go, find more information about the Raccoon stuff. They all quit their jobs respectively and join the Rising Volt Tacklers, and they are off. Meanwhile, we cut to the Exceeds Corporation building with Spinel. We see the arrival of Spinel. He's back. He seems to be evilly looming over things. And I want to talk about some things that I heard during the Twitter debacle of all of this, where when we saw this, a lot of people seem to not like Spinel anymore. And I'm trying to figure out why. People in the comments, if you've been keeping up with that like gossip or that drama, if you could put in the comments as to why, I can definitely try to tackle that in the next review. But with that being said, honestly, episode 99, I definitely will say receives a solid 7 out of 10. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I'll say a 7.5 out of 10. Just considering the fact that Orla was the most affected by Freed's disappearance. And I'm glad the show decided to finally tackle that. Whereas Murdoch felt bad about disbanding the group as a whole. Or Molly, she was just upset that they disbanded, but feels better about joining the group back up again. Here, we see that since Orla was so affected, her actions are obviously what leads to the rest of the Rising Volt Tacklers actually being able to take off on a ship and fly forward. So, with that being said, Orla obviously has the deepest connection to Freed, and thus, the character development she gains from this is more palpable. So I'll definitely have to go ahead and give episode 99 a 7.5 out of 10. Episode 100, I'm going to go ahead and give an 8 out of 10. I like the opening being used as a montage in order to get the Rising Volt Tacklers back. I love the use of the character development that Liko, Dot, and Roy get. I love the inclusion of Ult and how he's clearly becoming a Rising Volt Tackler member while still like gelling with everything that's gone on so far. I like the fact that we get some information on Freed and the things to come, and Spinel obviously is working on something devious in order to stop the Rising Volt Tacklers in their track. The only thing stopping this from being better, I wish we had known some information about Amaltheo. I really feel like we could have gotten some information about Amaltheo that definitely could have helped me get a better understanding about what's going on as far as the plot goes for Pokemon Horizons. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end it right there. The next episode that we are going to go ahead and tackle, now that we've officially at least caught up with the 100 mark, is episode 101, which is Fight Terrestrialization versus Mega Evolution or Mega Shinkan. Episode 102 is titled A Night Encountered in the Ruins, and then episode 103 is Stay Ablaze, My Love for Nidothing. So we'll definitely be tackling those episodes in the nearby future, but it's good to be caught up at least to the 100 mark. So I'll see y'all then, everybody. Tyrone TG3 out.